Have you ever looked back at your relationship history and just thought, how in the world did I get here? It can feel like a bunch of random choices, maybe even just bad luck. But what if it's not random at all? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the deep and often totally invisible forces that guide who we fall for, these hidden scripts that are running in the background of our lives. And it really all starts with one single powerful idea.
This quote, wow, it gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It suggests that our attractions aren't really about finding a perfect person out there, but about finding someone who just fits, someone who fits a pre-existing pattern inside of us. We're not just looking for anyone, we're subconsciously looking for a very specific key for a lock we might not even know we're carrying.
So, what is the machinery running under the floorboards of your emotions? Is it just pure biology, a chemical reaction? Or is it something deeper, like a story written in your past that you keep trying to finish? Well, the truth is, it's a mix of all of it. And we're going to break it all down, starting with the hardware, the brain itself. Right. So before we get into the deep psychology, we have to start with the hardware. When you feel that spark, that instant connection, your brain literally turns into a full-blown chemical factory. It's not magic, it's biology. And it is incredibly powerful. So scientists have actually broken this whole process down into three distinct but kind of overlapping systems. First up, you've got lust. That's driven by hormones like testosterone. It's nature's primal drive to, connect. Then comes attraction, which is really the obsession phase. And finally, there's attachment, that long-term bond created by those cuddle chemicals like oxytocin. And the wildest part, these three systems can actually be running at the same time for three different people. So let's zoom in on that attraction phase for a second. When you have a massive crush, your brain is flooded with dopamine, which is the same feel-good chemical you get from, winning a game. It feels euphoric, and it's super addictive. At the exact same time, you've got norepinephrine giving you that racing heart and those sweaty palms. And here's the real kicker. Your serotonin levels actually drop, which is linked to that obsessive can't stop thinking about them feeling. It's a potent, all-consuming chemical roller coaster, for sure. But, and this is so crucial, that powerful chemical program, it doesn't run in a vacuum. It's guided by a much deeper psychological script, a relationship blueprint that was written long before you ever went on your first date.
Okay, this is a core concept from psychology, and it is a total game changer. It's called repetition compulsion. It's the idea that we are subconsciously drawn to people and situations that feel familiar, even if that familiarity is painful. You see, we're not always seeking happiness. A lot of the time, we're seeking resolution. We unconsciously pick partners who reopen our old wounds because some deep part of us believes, this time I can fix it. This time I can finally win the love I was denied. And this is where it gets really tricky. That instant, magnetic, I feel like I've known you forever feeling, that's not always a sign of a soulmate. A lot of the time, high familiarity actually signals high trauma. Your brain isn't recognizing a perfect future. It's recognizing a familiar emotional frequency from your past. And it's lighting up because it knows the steps to this dance, even if it's a destructive one. And just to show you how deep these scripts really go, they don't just control your love life. Take money, for example. Financial psychologists have found we have these money scripts from childhood too. So a money avoider, someone who is taught that rich people are greedy, might sabotage their own success. Meanwhile, a money worshiper might obsessively chase wealth, thinking it'll solve everything. Both are just replaying lessons they learned as a kid. It's the same subconscious programming, just playing out in a different arena. Okay, so if we can't always trust that initial spark, that intense chemistry, what should we be looking for? This is where we need to learn the difference between the fire of chemistry and the actual foundation of true compatibility. This is how we move from subconscious attraction to making conscious, healthy choices. Oh man, people get this wrong all the time. Chemistry is that intense, electrical feeling. It's exciting, it's addictive, and you can have incredible chemistry with someone who is fundamentally totally wrong for you. Compatibility, on the other hand, is the practical alignment of your lives. It's not as loud or as flashy as chemistry, but it's the foundation that allows a relationship to actually last. Chasing chemistry without compatibility is a recipe for a fun disaster. So what does real compatibility even look like? It's not about liking the same movies or music. No. It's about these 4 pillars. First, core values. Do you agree on the big stuff, like how to treat people or the role of family and money? Then, life goals. Do your visions for the future, like kids, career, where you live, do they actually fit together? Third, communication. Can you actually understand each other, especially when you're upset? And finally, conflict and repair. It's not if you fight, it's how you fight, and more importantly, how you find your way back to each other afterward. So, what happens when you ignore compatibility and just let those clashing blueprints run the show? Well, this is when the destructive behaviors start to creep in, eroding the trust and safety that any healthy relationship absolutely needs. These are the red flags that signal a fundamental problem. And here are some of the most common ones. When one partner stonewalls, just shuts down and refuses to talk, it often leads to criticism from the other. Of course, that just triggers defensiveness, where nobody's listening anymore. And pretty soon, you're just keeping score, treating your partner like an opponent instead of a teammate. Now, there's one behavior that's so toxic, it really deserves its own slide: gaslighting. This is incredibly insidious because it's not an obvious attack, it's a subtle manipulation that slowly, piece by piece, erodes your sense of self. It's designed to make you feel like you're the problem, that your feelings aren't valid, and that your own memory can't be trusted. And this is the end result. The more you hear these hurtful things from someone you love and trust, the more you start to believe them. You start to doubt your own perception of reality, which is exactly what the manipulator wants. It is one of the most damaging things a person can experience in a relationship. Okay, after all that heavy stuff, let's talk about the solution. How do we break these cycles and actually build something healthy? How do we move from being driven by our old scripts to consciously writing a new one? Well, the good news is it is absolutely possible. And here is the simple, powerful truth of it all. You can't change your partner. You can't fix their programming. The only person you have any control over is yourself. Building a secure, healthy relationship starts with how you show up, with your own self-awareness, your own boundaries, and your own confidence. And here's something incredibly practical you can do right now. Body language experts talk about revealing your vitals. See, when we feel uncomfortable, we naturally cover our vulnerable spots. Intentionally doing the opposite, uncrossing your arms, opening your chest up, lifting your chin, it has an immediate effect. It's a simple physical shift that creates a powerful psychological one. By choosing open, confident posture, you're not just signaling to others, you are signaling to yourself that you are worthy of a secure connection. You're breaking that old script of making yourself small. So the ultimate goal here is to evolve. It's about graduating from the chaos of a karmic bond, that intense, anxiety-fueled relationship defined by a trauma loop, and moving toward the calm of a true soulmate connection. In psychological terms, this is all about moving toward secure attachment. And it doesn't scream, it isn't flashy, it feels like relief. It feels like coming home. And that really brings us to our final thought. We spend so much energy looking for the perfect person, right? Analyzing their every move. But maybe we're looking in the wrong direction. What if the key to a healthy, lasting love isn't about finding some finished product, but about becoming the kind of person who can build one, starting with the relationship you have with yourself? It's a powerful idea to think about.